All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Week number 5, Monday Night Football. Got the Jags taking on the Chiefs. In today's video, I'm going to dive into this game. I'll give you my prediction on the side. I'll give you my prediction on the total. We'll talk about any other plays like player props that we like within the game as well. But as always, guys, keep an eye down on the pinned comment of this video. That's where you'll find all of my final plays, so I'm actually rolling with myself. If that does interest you, absolutely free down in the pinned comment. All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. I tell you guys I'm a dummy all the time. They don't suck. They've just been sucking. Get them down to -3, 4. More juice than Jose Canseco in his prime. Tell me you're new without telling me you're new. So don't go jumping down my throat in the comments, right? If you want to fade me, or if you do want to ride me, this still leaves a bad taste in my mouth, right? And remember, more chins, more wins. All right, before we dive into this game, I want to let you know that Chalkboard is still offering an unbelievable new user deal. A free $20 upon signup. That's right, upon signup. You don't even need to deposit to get the free $20. Use that link down in the description as well as the pinned comment. You're also going to get a Patrick Mahomes free square, 0.5 passing yards for this game. And if you do choose to deposit, which I would recommend, Chalkboard is an awesome app, a lot of fun, a lot of promos, a lot of deals. If you do choose to deposit, you're going to get a deposit match as well. So check it out, guys. Link down below in the description as well as the pinned comment. Jags taking on the Chiefs here, guys. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. As always, drop all your favorite plays down in the comments down below. Not just to help me out, let me know what you guys are rolling with, getting a sense for what the community's riding with, but also to help out a bunch of other people that are looking for additional plays for this game. Let me know all of your favorite plays down in the comments of this video. Let's talk about this game. We got the 3-1 Jags, 3.5-point dogs here at home. Total of 46.5 against the Chiefs, so we're 2-2 now. Now, this Jacksonville team, I want to give credit where it's due for a 3-1 start to the year, but at the same time, you know, the strength of schedule necessarily isn't all that great, right? They've played Carolina, Cincinnati, Houston, and San Francisco. I'll give them credit for 3-1, but still, let's keep that in mind, right? Now, Kansas City, Chargers, Philadelphia, Giants, and Baltimore, that's who they've played so far. They're 2-2, and realistically, the only really good game was that last game against Baltimore, 37-20 win, right? Let's talk about this Jacksonville offense versus the Kansas City defense. So what we know about this Kansas City defense, and using the Guy Boston Sports dashboard confirms it, you can see here that Kansas City is going to play a ton of man coverage. Now, if we look at Trevor Lawrence and his man versus zone splits, it's kind of a mixed bag, right? Yards per attempt and completion percentage are better against zone, but the interception percentage, DVOA, and EPA are all better versus man, which is what we're going to see here. Now, another thing to note would be this Kansas City team running man coverage also have 2 high safeties the majority of the time. Well, Trevor Lawrence is pretty damn good against the 2 high safety looks, particularly when it comes to the advanced numbers of YPA, yards per attempt, as well as completion percentage. If we remember, those were the 2 stats that dropped off against man. So I do think Trevor Lawrence, as long as they can keep him protected, would be okay in this situation, should be able to move the ball slightly through the air. But the biggest issue is what I mentioned. Will they keep him protected, right? This Chiefs team is going to blitz. They're going to apply pressure. 7th in pressure rate, 5th in blitz rate so far. They have the 5th best clean pocket percentage against opposing quarterbacks so far this year. So, yeah, they're going to get to Trevor Lawrence most likely. And realistically, like, is this a great offensive line on the Jacksonville side of things? Not exactly sure. So that is where kind of the drawback is of what we're going to see from Trevor Lawrence. If he has a clean pocket, and yeah, it's a big if, I do think he'll be able to move the ball against this man coverage, especially with the 2 high safety looks. If they get to him, we could see some trouble out of him, right? So let's see what they do in terms of the pressure. I expect them to be able to get to him. I'm not the biggest of believers in this offensive line, but what I will say is the run game may be in a pretty good situation here for Jacksonville against Kansas City. And if the run game's working, then yeah, it probably helps out the pass game in a big way, right? So far for Jacksonville, 4th in yards per game, 6th in yards per carry on the offensive end on the ground. The Chiefs, 22nd in yards per game defensively, 27th in yards per carry. And if we look at the newest addition to the dashboard here, the running schemes for these 2 teams, you can see man and duo splits and the inside zone are the 2 schemes that we really should be focusing on here for Jacksonville, right? And it's really, really important to note that, because when looking at this Chiefs defense against the man running scheme against, things get pretty ugly. Now, again, this Chiefs defense, rushing wise hasn't been all that tremendous so far, but they also have had a tough strength of schedule in a sense, right? They played against Saquon, Derrick Henry. Now, do these guys torch them? No, but still, they are really, really good running backs. But anyways, back to the man zone look, right? Or excuse me, the man versus zone. That man running scheme, Kansas City 5th highest yards per carry, 3rd highest EPA per attempt, 3rd highest DVOA verse, and the 10th highest success rate, 2nd highest yards before contact, and 3rd highest explosive run rate. Big ol' yikes there, right? So I think that Travis Etienne and this Jacksonville run game realistically is going to be the biggest thing that keeps them in this and will lead to them having, I would say, the biggest success in this game. So I do like the ground game for Jacksonville. And again, that will help out Trevor Lawrence and help out the offensive line because this Chiefs team may be guessing pass or rush a lot more than normal, right? Let's flip it over and talk about Kansas City, their offensive profile versus what we can expect from Jacksonville. Now, Mahomes versus Jacksonville defense, we're going to expect a lot of zone out of Jacksonville. And historically, that's like, bread and butter for Mahomes. Him and Kelsey absolutely love the zone. Hasn't really been the case this year. I mean, he's looked a little bit better against man than he has zone, even those last 2 games, especially that Baltimore game in which they looked the best. Baltimore runs a ton of man, so I'm not exactly sure where to come out on that. What I would say is that, yeah, we probably can expect Mahomes at some point to start looking good against zone, right? That's what he's done historically, and at some point I think that he kind of rounds into term. What I will say is this Jacksonville team does not pressure. They don't really blitz. That also historically isn't the best way to get to Patrick Mahomes, right? You give him a clean pocket, you're playing zone, a guy like him with the timing of, say, Travis Kelce again, and we'll talk about Travis Kelce when we get to the player prop portion of this video. You give that duo some time to find some soft spots and zones, it's most likely not going to be all that great for you. So I think the fact that we see Jacksonville not having the best pressure rates or anything like that is a pretty big drawback. And when I say not that great, they're middle of the pack in terms of pressure, middle of the pack in terms of blitz, but let's think about the teams they've played, right? Carolina, Cincinnati, Houston, San Fran, like these aren't world-beating offensive lines whatsoever. Now they're going up against the Chiefs, who have they been the best? No, but they do have the 8th best adjusted sack percentage against, so maybe they do actually have a decent stance here in terms of keeping Patrick Mahomes clean in the pocket and him able to beat that zone. The running game is a little weird from the Kansas City side of things. Jacksonville is the 4th best defense in terms of ground run defense when it comes to yards per game, 9th best in yards per carry, and the Chiefs are kind of still waiting to figure out, one, what are they going to do on the ground in terms of Pacheco or Kareem Hunt, and they're still waiting for the ball to get rolling. Like, they have not really gotten their ground game going all that much. So I do think that this is a weird spot to consider Kansas City's defense because the biggest thing I'll know, and I just mentioned how Jacksonville's pretty good against the run, right? Well, this Chiefs team runs pretty much exclusively. Now, it's not exclusive, but pretty damn near close exclusively inside zone rushes, which should work really, really, really well against Jacksonville. They have the 4th highest success rate against the inside zone, and they're bottom half in the league in yards per carry, EPA per attempt, yards before contact, DVOA. So yeah, this Chiefs team should technically be in a good spot to get the ground game going, but it's such a big if. Like, are they able to generate anything on the ground themselves regardless of who they're playing? That's where the big question mark comes in. So what do we do on the side here? What do we do on the total? Well, first and foremost, I think that both offenses have some, good looks and some negative looks. I think this Chiefs team will be able to get to Trevor Lawrence, and he may struggle at times, but I'm a big proponent here of Travis Etienne having a good game and kind of controlling the game that way. So first and foremost, I am going to look at taking the dog here at home, Jacksonville plus the 3.5 points. The biggest thing that scares me here is that this Chiefs team's coming off a big win against Baltimore. Are they starting to get going? Because in theory, the Chiefs with Andy Reid are still a better team than Jacksonville, but we shall see. Give me the Jacksonville Jaguars here plus 3.5. One thing that I'll mention is I'm really liking player props in this game. I have a same game parlay that I really like as well, so we may like those things a little bit more than the side or total in this one, but keep an eye on the final plays like I always say. The total is very confusing because like I mentioned, I think the Jags should be able to move the ball, but on the ground. The ground creates, the clock to continue to run and everything like that, so I think that I'm going to lean slightly towards an under because if the Chiefs want to get the ground game going, this is a good time to do it, right? I mentioned those inside zone numbers, so if we see two teams that, yeah, they are moving the ball, but they're doing it a lot on the ground, then this thing probably ends at like a 23-21 or, 24-17 4-21 type game, which would be under this number and still seem relatively high scoring and efficient. So I like that under 46.5 as well. Now let's jump into a couple player props. And by the way, the tool you guys are going to see right now is called Outlier. Link down below in the description, as well as the pinned comment. 7-day free trial for what I would consider the most powerful and best player prop research tool on the market. First play, yeah, no kidding. I like Travis Etienne Jr. in this spot. Over 59.5 you can actually get, which I like on ESPN. He's done this in 3 of the 4 games so far this season. Again, this Chiefs defense, not exactly all that great. 22nd in rushing yards allowed. A little bit better against running backs specifically, but still not all that tremendous. The biggest thing here is that Etienne is this backfield, right? 56.5% of carries have gone to him so far this year. In the red zone, even more. I like Etienne to get the ball. Another spot, another angle that I'm definitely involved in here would be his over 14.5 carries. Unless you think the Chiefs are going to blow out this Jacksonville team, Etienne should get 15 carries, averaging 16.25 on the season. Last year, he only averaged 10, but obviously that was a little bit different in terms of workload split. He's had 16, 14, 16, and 19 so far this season. And again, I think that he'll have a pretty good game. 15 carries from him, especially if this is a close game and they're trying to establish the run, shouldn't be all that crazy. So I like his yards, I like his attempts, and then based on everything I'm saying, how can I not like him to score a touchdown, right? He has 3 so far this year. This is a spot in which I think Kansas City, lets them get down to the goal line, and I had already mentioned, right? Look at this red zone rush attempts. He's the only one rushing it, realistically. Nearly 60% of the carries in the red zone are going to him. Now, have the Chiefs, again, allowed a bunch of touchdowns to running backs? Not so much, but overall, I still think this is a good spot for the plus 130. So, Travis Etienne, I'm all over here. Another guy that I'm all over, would be Travis Kelce. I like his receptions here at over 3.5. You can snag this right now. Pretty juiced over on FanDuel, but still consumable. He's hit it in 3 straight games. And again, a lot of zone defense is what I'm expecting here. Patrick Mahomes will find Travis Kelce, especially if he has the clean pocket. So I like the spot here. Jacksonville, the tight ends, kind of just middle of the pack in terms of receptions allowed, but it's a key point to make that they're allowing 5 receptions to the tight end position, right? This is a spot in which Noah Gray realistically isn't getting any targets. It's going to be Travis Kelce, and check this out. 4 straight tight ends, Gesicki, Fant, Dalton Schultz, and Tongs against this Jacksonville team all hit their over in receptions. So Travis Kelce to go out there and get 4 catches, not all that crazy. You want to look at his over in yards? Sure, I don't mind that either. You can even take a peek at his over 40. He hit this in 3 of 4 games, averaging 45.5 so far this year. And remember, we're still yet to see like a Travis Kelce breakout type game, so could be a good spot for him. Last year, he averaged 52.5, so Travis Kelce finding the soft spots of the zone I like. And if you want to get a little freaky, nearly plus 200 for him to score a touchdown, not exactly something that I'm hating either. So yeah, right now, I do think that, we're looking at Travis Kelce, Travis Etienne. Wow, I just realized we got the Travis effect. Comment Travis x2, Travis times 2, down in the comments if you made it this far in the video. We love the Travises in Monday Night Football. I do think that these are the 2 spots that I'm really looking at. Now, I had mentioned how I think this could be a good spot for the Chiefs running game against Jacksonville, right? I do think I want to involve Pacheco and Kareem Hunt to some degree in some sort of a same game parlay. So we'll keep that in mind. One that I've already kind of punted around and noticed minus 103 over on FD, which seems too good to be true. It's like minus 140 for the same game parlay on other books. Pacheco 15 plus, Kareem Hunt 15 plus, and then Travis Etienne 40 plus. That seems like something that could be live for us, right? So keep an eye on the final plays, guys. Like I said, this is one of those matchups in which I do like the player props and the same game parlay potential a little bit more than I do the sides. But just to recap here, I like the Jags plus 3.5, the under 46.5, but I really like Travis Etienne. I really like Travis Kelce, and I really like that same game parlay that we already kind of kicked around. So again, let me know what you guys are rolling with down in the comments. Make sure to comment 14 if you made it this far into the video. Really do appreciate all of the support so far in the NFL season. And again, with us having, not as many player props and not as many spots as we like, I'm definitely eager to see what you guys are rolling with down in the comments. So help me out, help everyone else out, and we'll catch you guys in the next one, all right? Peace out.